brightest day, and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light!
Hey guys, it's StarrySky, and welcome to my video to do with update 25 skill points to do with hard light controllers. Now, before update 25, it'd only take roughly about 60 something, maybe low 70 skill points to max all your Vita and Cunning, which are your most important stats for a controller. But now, after update 25, they've brought in so many innates to do with pretty much every role that now you need a lot more skill points to cover all of the Vitalization, Cunning, and then to go on to Dominance. And they've even brought in an extra innate for power, which personally I think is quite useless at the moment. So what I'm going to tend to do is I'm going to go through the skill trees, tell you what to prioritise, where the Vita, Cunning and Dominance in which trees are, and also more or less pretty much we'll see how many skill points it takes up for all of the new innates in total. Okay, so first thing of all, what we want to do is we want to go straight to our movement, because this is probably like the most important part though, is we want to put the points in our movement of which we're going to be using. So flight, acrobatics, super speed, you want to put the points in so we have the mobility to travel around the areas. So for me, since I'm super speed, I'm going to be putting 2 into movement. And so for all controllers, the primary stat is Vitalization. So what we're going to do is we're going to go straight into this weapon trees, and we're going to be finding all the Vitalizations and maxing them all. So the first Vitalization should be in Brawler. And as you can see, this is one of the new innates. It takes a total of 6 skill points, and we get an extra 2 Vitalization for each skill point. So when it comes to the situation where it's not unlocked, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put a point in the Dominance to unlock it below. And since we're going to be using Dominance at a later date, it's not too bad to do. Unless you're particularly speccing into one of these trees where you're going to get the combo, and then you can go straight into Vitalization or other innate that might be at the bottom if you haven't got enough skill points to get into the Dominance yet. So 1 point in the Dominance, and then we simply want to max out all the Vitalization. The next one is dual pistols. Dual wield. Yet again, we come to a situation where it'd be a good idea to put a point in Dominance so we can unlock the Vitalization. At least then we're putting a point in stats that would be beneficial to us. And blasters. So as you can see, I'm pretty much going down the middle of all the trees. So if you're speccing into hand blasters, which quite a few controllers can do, a lot of them will put a point in pulse beam, and then you can pretty much go straight into Vitalization without having to put a point in Dominance. But as for me, I don't use hand blasters, so I would put a point in the Dominance and then go straight to the Vitalization. But it's pretty much the same thing though if you were putting a point in the combo if you were speccing into hand blasters. But you point in that and then down to Vitalization. Or if you're not in hand blasters, a point in Dominance and to the Vitalization then. Next one should be martial arts. The same one here. We'll put a point in Cunning, and then we'll max out Vitalization below, since Cunning's our secondary stat that we need to max out. One-handed, so hit again, down the middle. As you can see, they've added a lot of extra Vita into the innates, which is always nice for us controllers. So as you can see, down the middle again, and yet again I'm going to be putting a point in Cunning just so I can unlock the Vitalization. And the last one should be two-handed. So as you can see, I have 146 skill points, and I'm just down to 62 already from just maxing out all the Vita innates. And that's took up about 84 skill points. So as you can see, it takes up a lot of skill points just to go down the weapon trees of the ones with the Vitalization in it. So the next stat we're going to be moving on to is Cunning, which would be bow, then it should be martial arts. Since we've already gone down the middle and going into the Vitalization, that's already opened up the Cunning for us, just to finish off maxing out, so that's nice. And then the last Cunning will be in the shield. So all in all, that's took us well over 90 skill points to max out all the Cunning and Vitalization. Just to make sure. Yeah, well over 90 skill points. Probably looking at roughly around 96 skill points. Just to max out the Vitalization and Cunning. So, if you go straight to the stats, my Vitalization now is 1,360, when before it used to be 1,304. So in a total, that's given me well over an extra 55 Vitalization from all the innates, which is quite a lot of extra Vitalization. Okay, so let's go and finish off our secondary stats, which will be dominance. So the dominance is in the brawler. Dual pistols. Dual wield. Hand blasters. One-handed. rifle. So at least if we're maxing out all the extra dominance, that'll make our shields that much stronger as well. Shield. Staff. And then finally, two-handed. Now, just to get all our primary stats of Vitalization, then Cunning, and then Dominance, has taken a well of 138 skill points just to get the main controller stats. And this is without even getting the other stats that they've put in for controllers. It's not that one. They've put in a load of extra power innates, which for me personally I am not going to be putting any points into, because I don't really see the point to them. Because for an extra skill point we only get 6 extra power on our power pool, which is just not worth it. If it was like 15, maybe 20, then you could consider it, but still I'd rather be putting my skill points somewhere else, which I will be doing. So since we've covered our movement, and then we've gone and maxed all the Vitalization, then Cunning, and then Dominance, with the remaining skill points we have left, if you have enough, what we really should be doing before we go and put anything into health or defense or anything else you would like, is we really should come back to our movement tree, and we should come back and we should come and get all of the extra things for our resistance, and especially the breakout masteries are really important for controllers. Since when we break out, since we all have a high vitalization count, the amount of power we can get back from a breakout is really beneficial to us. So this should be put ahead after you've maxed out Vita, Cunning, and then Dominance. Then you should come back and get the rest of your skills in the movement tree, and then after that feel free to put points in the power if you like, defense or health. So as you can see, for me to come and do all of the what I spoke about, and that's without getting weapon combos I might use, it's literally took me 143 skill points to max everything I would need for a controller and to come back and get all my movements. So that would leave me 3 skill points to either put somewhere else or to put in weapon combos that I would use particularly. And so let's go ahead and look at my stats again. Now I am in 2 parts Norseman gear, which is from the Codex, and the rest of it is T4. Legendary rings and neck, level 75 utility belt, Black Dawn weapon, and so on. And that pretty much gives me a vitalization of 1,364 and dominance of 1,040. So in total, from all the extra innates and everything altogether, we get an extra 60 vitalization. And gone out how much dominance. At least look at an extra 150 dominance. So also quickly, I'll go to my PowerPoints for people to see how I've spec my controller. PowerPoint in Light Claws, Spikequake, RAM, Whip Thrash, Lightweight, and then I've got points in Boxing Glove, Hand Clap, Light Barrier, Impact, Recharge, Grasping Hands, Group Shielding, and then I'll go to Iconics. I have points in Wisdom of Solomon, Intimidating Gaze, and Word of Power. Now the reason why I've done this for is so I put points in places where I can change my loadout accordingly to if I'm going to be a main controller on pots or if I'm going to be a secondary controller on debuff. And also if I'm going to be using in a raid where I need a shield, I have the option of changing one of my skills for a group shielding. Also, if you're controlling, I put a point in lightweight. Essentially, hard light controllers shouldn't be using lightweight as a debuff, because it can block line of sight, knocks tanks out of the way, so they lose aggro. It can hit team members in the way of harmful attacks, and pretty much just blocks line of sight of controllers and healers. So the debuff you should be using is Grasp in Hand for that. But I keep lightweight in for the situations for when it comes to like +1 and there's crystals you can break, or if you're in Vengeance and Fate is bugged, instead of just re-logging or something, you can actually use a lightweight, hit him out of the way, and then for some reason you can talk to him. And then just so you can check my loadout, this is pretty much the standard loadout I run. Light Claws, Recharge, Whip Thrash, Grasp in Hand, Light Barrier, and Word of Power. So guys, I hope this video will help out controllers with what to prioritise and whatnot to get. Since update 25, it is very important that you go and farm your feats. Get as many skill points as you can, because when DLC 7 comes out, the raids and everything else I'm expecting are going to be a lot harder. That's why they've given us so much extra innates. So go out there, get your skill points, get ready, and good luck to you all. So, I think we've pretty much covered everything anyway. We've covered what ones we're prioritising, and I've shown you the stats, what your endgame vitalization will be, with all of the endgame content or equipment, weapons, etc. So until next time guys, thanks for watching.